I've had the Boss Katana Mk II 50-watt amplifier for 2 months, and now I'm going to do a little review. Long story short, I love the amp and I would say it's very much worth it. I'm going to show you the 4 main tones the Katana comes with. You've got the clean, then the crunch, lead, and finally the brown tone. All the equalizers are set to 50%, and the only effect that I've got on is a little touch of reverb. So here's the clean sound. Now let's try out the crunch tone. Humbuckers volume 10 sounds good with rock. Single coil and dial down the volume a little bit. Sounds good for a bluesy. Now let's move on to the lead tone. Now we'll move on to the brown tone. What I'll do now is play around with the amplifier on the bare basic clean tone that I just demonstrated before, but this time I'm going to use my pedals. Now some overdrive. The wah-wah. DS1. One of the best features of the Katana is the software that it comes with. What we have here is the Boss Tone Studio that is basically just a digital version of the panel. The cool thing about this is we can be way more precise with the tones that we want to get, and it's just so much easier to write our different presets that we want. But the best part about this is we can get access to about 50 something pedals. Over here in the booster section, I've got access to all my different distortions and overdrives that I would really want. Stuff like the metal zone, I've got different fuzzes, I've got the HM2, I've got the metal core. All the way down we've got clean boosts and blues drives, normal overdrives and stuff like that. And the same goes for all the mods and effects. We've got octave pedals, we've got wah-wahs, we've got tremolos, we've got phases, we've got choruses, etc. So what we can theoretically do is turn the entire panel into one massive preset where we can have 3 different guitar pedals for each of these effects up here. So this way, my pedal board that I probably spent about $1,000 on has realistically become redundant. And another really cool thing is if I want to change up the metal zone. So currently we've got this sound, right? Just that clean tone. If I increase the booster just a little bit, we should have the metal zone activated, which now sounds like this. And on top of that, if I select booster in this middle section here, I've now got access to all the different dials and knobs that you'd normally find on the pedal if we actually had one. I might want to very carefully increase the drive. Maybe decrease a little bit of the tone. Maybe we need a little bit more low end. And like I said before, we're able to create our own presets. So I've come up with a few. I've got a clean, rock, metal, and blues. I'll show you the clean tone. And then of course my personal favorite. I'm going to quickly go over the controls on the panel of the amplifier. So over here we've got our power switch. Next we've got our power control, so we can decide if we want 0.5 watts, 25 watts or 50 watts. In a band setting you want to use the 50 watts and you should be able to compete alongside acoustic drum kits, bass amplifiers and other electric guitars, but for general use we can stick to that 0.5 watt. This is the master volume, and on top of those we've got our tone settings. Right now I've got panel selected, so whatever we do to change here is going to affect our tone of the amp, but then we've got our presets channel 1 and 2. We can switch between channel 1 and 2A versus B by selecting either of the channels and then holding down the panel button. Panel button should start flashing like that, and we are now on channel 1B or channel 2B. And of course we do the same to go back. Here we've got our effects. We've got booster, mod, effects, delay and reverb. All of these have got 3 variations. We've got green, red and then finally the orange. Then we've got our equalizers, including our gain and volume, which work as they should, just like normal with any other amplifier. Finally, we have our amp types. On the bottom, we have acoustic, which is if we want to use an acoustic guitar with the amplifier. Then we've got clean, crunch, lead, and then brown tone, which is heavy metal. All of these have also got their own variation. There were 4 things that I wanted to get out of the amplifier that I was going to buy, and it just so happens that the 4 things I was looking for are the 4 best features of the Katana. Really quickly, I needed something that was affordable within my budget that was still going to do everything that I needed it to do, and that's pretty much covered by the Katana. I also needed it to be easy to record guitar, and considering all I need is one cable to connect the amp into the audio interface, and then I'm ready to record, I'd say that that covers it as well. It had to sound good with guitar pedals, which I think I've demonstrated that it does. And finally, and probably most important, was I needed versatility. I needed the amp to be versatile because of how I write music. I don't just generally stick to a specific genre. I'm more writing songs that are sort of little bits and pieces of all the different genres that I love. So what I kind of do is, if I want to show an emotion of pain and anger, I'm going to do something really heavy that's sort of more close to heavy metal. If I want something more emotional and beautiful, maybe sad or something, I'll do more clean tones with reverb and swells, maybe even some strings or some kind of orchestral stuff. If I want something sort of laid back and feel-y or groovy, I'm going to think blues. So I really needed an amplifier that was going to perform well from heavy metal all the way through to some beautiful clean stuff with your blues and rock and all that kind of thing in the middle. Luckily for me, the Katana pretty much does that. It's got a great heavy metal sound and it's got a really good clean tone. It's not the best at either, like I'd probably go and get a Marshall to get a better heavy metal tone and maybe a Fender to get a better blues tone or something like that, but across the board it's really good. Because this video is more of just a generic view looking at the features of the amplifier, I haven't gone into too much detail of each specific thing. I do, however, already have a couple of videos that focuses on those things. One that demonstrates the tones the Katana comes with, another one that focuses on using the guitar pedals with the amp, another one that is on the Boss Tone Studio and me creating my own presets, and then of course the all classic unboxing and first look. So if any of those videos interest you, feel free to check them out. I'll leave a link to them in the description. Otherwise, if you've got any questions, please let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all later.